Suffer in silence!
Hey, me Matt here. So, WrestleMania 24. You know, a few years ago, actually, I think it was the day after WrestleMania 24, I made a rant talking about my disgust for Ric Flair. Not really a rant, but it was a video saying on how much I enjoyed the fact that he has retired. And the fact that he was never my favorite wrestler. Of course, I was very much a different person back then, but, you know, the way I look at it is I'm probably not wrong in this. Ric Flair has never been my favorite wrestler, and the fact that things happened the way they did is a fucking travesty in certain ways. But let's get to WrestleMania 24. So in the opening dark match, we got Kane in a battle royal for the ECW championship. So you get Kane, who became ECW champion, which is cool because very rare does Kane get a title anymore. And, you know, back then, getting the ECW championship and then getting the world championship later on is pretty cool. And, yeah, so it was, and I'm not quite sure if this was an Extreme Rules Battle Royal. I can't really remember that, but then we get to the pay-per-view. We have Bradshaw Layfield versus Finlay. And this is when Finlay had Hornswoggle. And, you know, Hornswoggle, it helped out in the match. This was a Belfast brawl. So basically, this was a very good match. Of course, I've said it many times, I enjoy hardcore matches, and this was pretty cool. You know, you had Hornswoggle joining in the match, but of course, it went to JBL. Very interesting as it is. Then we get to Money in the Bank ladder match. Of course, this will be the third year that we see it. And we have Shelton Benjamin, Chris Jericho, Montel, Vontavious, Porter, MVP. Can't believe I said that right. Mr. Kennedy, who won last year, and John Morrison, and CM Punk. And this match was very cool. It was always cool to see that, you know. The fact that it's now a pay-per-view is a shame because it's no longer special to me. This ended up going to CM Punk, which had him go in to become World Heavyweight Champion, later feuding with Jeff Hardy. And holy shit, what a bad run. Yeah, a lot of people are gonna knock CM Punk down because of the way he was, and he's not a regular wrestler, and he doesn't look like he should be there, and all this other stuff. CM Punk, although he has said what he said in the past, and everything else, you can't deny that maybe some of it has to be true. I mean, this guy, maybe he's not a main event kind of person. I wanted to kill the WWE to give him a main event spot, especially winning the World Championship. But of course, being knocked down by Randy Orton, and I think it was Unforgiven. I think. And losing that main event spot at that pay-per-view really kind of pisses me off that he never got that chance. And then we'll get to the, I think it was WrestleMania 26, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, CM Punk, as much as he has issues with a lot of things, I can understand why. But then we get to Batista versus Umaga. This was another inter-promotional match. You have Batista, who was on SmackDown, and Umaga on Raw. And of course, you had the winner being Batista. And there you go. This was a decent match. Then we go on to Kane, who defeated Chavo Guerrero. Oh, I see. So, Kane won the Battle Royal to face Chavo Guerrero, who was ECW champion. Okay. And this was a record match. This was probably the shortest match in WrestleMania history. Because it was a choke slam. I don't know if there was a tombstone. But Kane, new ECW champion. So yeah, I was right, but at the same time, this was a #1 contender battle royal. Well, then we get a match that we all expected. Now, like I said before, Ric Flair is not my favorite wrestler, but neither is Shawn Michaels. The fact is, I can respect both individuals, although I have a little less respect, or had a little less respect for Ric Flair the following year. But here you have two guys, one legend and one guy who idolized this guy, this other guy, you know, and what better way to have a retirement match than to be with the person that looked up to you. Now, Shawn Michaels inducted Ric Flair into the Hall of Fame. Actually, didn't induct him, but announced him as the inductee. And then did that shitty woo thing. But the fact of the matter is, Ric Flair wanted Shawn Michaels in his last match. And of course, Shawn Michaels declined as whatever. But eventually Shawn Michaels had agreed to it and did the old Yeller analogy, if you will, putting the dog to sleep. So this match came out. It was a pretty good match. A lot of hesitant, sweet chin music moments where he was going to do it, but then didn't want to do it. I never get the last part of the match where you see Ric Flair do this, and he has tears in his eyes, and he's crying. And then Shawn Michaels with the classic, "I'm sorry, I love you." And most of you who are probably emotional by that, and I can see why. Nobody wants to end somebody's career, but anyway, sweet chin music, referee 1, 2, 3, and right away Shawn Michaels hugs Ric Flair. Now, the next night on Raw, Ric Flair gets a retirement party, if you will. You have Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, his greatest opponent. You have the Four Horsemen, Triple H. You have The Undertaker at the, well, actually, it wasn't filmed, but Undertaker was there. You had Vince McMahon come out and all that other stuff. But there it is. You know, Ric Flair with tears in his eyes again. It was pretty sentimental, if you will. And I was happy for him. I actually respect this guy now. A year later, I see Ric Flair appear on TNA. It's Ric Flair, Jeff Hardy, and someone else. Ric Flair was on TNA. And he continued to wrestle. If I wanted to see a 60-year-old man wrestle, I go to the retirement home. Or bingo hall, whatever. So that's when I lost respect for him again. But, as you know, it is, the WWE probably felt stupid for inducting him at the time. Really, that's what you want. That's bullshit. Now, a few years later, actually 2 years ago, at least, Ric Flair came back just because his daughter Ashley, or Charlotte, Ashley's known, debuted. He was at her corner for a bit. And then, of course, she stabbed him in the back, which was a terrible thing, but apparently they planned on it. And for what it's worth, I know a lot of people shit on Charlotte, but I kind of like her as a wrestler. I think she's pretty cool. I think that she is a good talker, but that's me. That's not necessarily everyone else. Ric Flair seems to be behind the scenes, or wherever he is. So yeah, this was a good match. Yep, you know, told a good story, at least. But it was a good match. Then we have the Playboy Bunny Lumberjill match. Beth Phoenix and Melina. Yeah. I'm trying to think here. So, Beth Phoenix and Melina. Oh, they defeated Maria and Ashley. Okay. My glasses need to be cleaned. Maria and Ashley. So, yeah. So, Santino's on Aftermath in Toronto. Which, I don't get the channel, unfortunately. Shout out to Aftermath again. Yeah, Maria, who's on TNA with her husband. She was in Ring of Honor for a bit, too, with her husband. Then you got Ashley, don't know who she is. And then Beth Phoenix, who just got inducted into the 2017 Hall of Fame. Congratulations to Beth Phoenix. I still don't know what a Playboy BUNNYMANIA match is. A Lumberjill match, but it's probably wrong. Anyways, Randy Orton, or the WWE Championship Triple Threat match. Randy Orton versus John Cena versus Triple H. I was surprised to know that nor Triple H or John Cena went over, and it went to Randy Orton. So, Randy Orton retained. One of the few WrestleManias where the champion retains. So, very cool, I guess. I'm not a fan of Randy Orton. Triple H is cool when he's the leather jacket wearing cerebral assassin, but this whole suit thing I don't buy. And then you got John Cena, who, again, I respect, but I'm not really a fan of. But this was a pretty cool match. Then we get a no disqualification match with Floyd Mayweather versus Big Show. Now, I talked earlier in the series about... Holy shit, look at that. I hear that wind. I talked earlier in that series where you have other sports coming to WWE WrestleMania. Boxing was, Mike Tyson was there. Mr. T isn't really a boxer, but he boxed at WrestleMania 2 with Roddy Piper. This match was interesting. I can't remember what pay-per-view it was, but Floyd Mayweather came out, and Big Show made his return and had called Mayweather out. And Mayweather and him got into it. He punched Big Show in the nose. Big Show broke kayfabe, apparently. Or broke character, nonetheless. Got pissed off and charged off after Mayweather. So then this match happens. What really pisses me off, though, is that not only do you have the small guy versus the big guy, when Big Show goes for a wrestling move, I said that twice, you got one of Mayweather's managers or whatever going, he can't do that, he can't do that. The fuck he can! It's WrestleMania! It's not boxing! But of course, Floyd Mayweather won. I don't know why. I can't remember how, but Floyd Mayweather won the match. Very, yes. I go off on stupid shit like that. Well, then we get the main event. We have Edge versus The Undertaker. Very cool match. You know, Survivor Series. It was Undertaker versus Batista. Undertaker beat Batista. This was a Hell in a Cell match too, which I thought was pretty awesome. And, yeah, Edge posed as a cameraman and then beat the shit out of Undertaker. So this match happened, and yeah, this was cool. I really enjoyed both these wrestlers, and Undertaker became the World Heavyweight Champion. But just listening to Edge and hearing how intense he was, where he couldn't feel his hands coming to the ring. Everybody has that excitement when they face The Undertaker, but this was cool. Jimmy Corderas was there. I met him last year at a Smash Wrestling event in Oshawa. Very cool person. I should have asked him what it was like to get kicked in the face by The Undertaker, but nonetheless, Edge won this one, became the new World Heavyweight Undertaker won this one, became the new World Champion. So that was cool. And we knew that anyways. So this was Undertaker's second World Championship win at a WrestleMania. So that was cool. I mean, you know, he was the WWE champion once at WrestleMania, but two-time world champion at WrestleMania, so that was cool. This match was cool. It's fun to relive these, and, you know, through the years, just to have a different opinion on these things, you know. The fact is, you should understand why I get angry talking about Floyd Mayweather and his cronies, but also having Ric Flair retire, have a good ceremony, and then jump ship to TNA and still wrestle at 60 years old and still against Hulk Hogan. I saw a match between those two and thought, oh, look at that blubber fly. But there you go. This was good. The match between Edge and Undertaker was good. Very good. The Money in the Bank match was awesome. This was a good WrestleMania. So now, we're going to get to the anniversary WrestleMania. It'll be pretty cool. And so, I guess I'll see you then. Bye.